Back in 2020, one of the lists I made was talking about my top days in theme parks. Before I think it listed both good and bad, but since I've had so many more experiences from working at Cedar Point in 2021, studying abroad in Madrid and visiting 7 theme parks over there, just a few other things since then, it's time to update the list and only focus on the good. I'm Lindsay, you're watching History and Leisure. Be sure to follow on Instagram, Threads, Bluesky, History_Leisure, as well as a Substack and my second channel, History and Leisure Echoes, where I post copyright-free footage and bonus material. One of the places was in 2019 where I volunteered to give this role. Not really a park, mainly just a place for those Make-A-Wish kids who have wishes tied or adjacent to the theme parks there. All mentions for 2 days would be my ride operator shift on March 20th, 2019, which was the 3 Millions in Peril rides, the Happy Swing, their Magic Bike Ride, and the train. And then Friday evening, March 22nd, I'll do a little clip from Monday. We also did the evening program on Monday night. It's nice after hearing about the place for so many years from Attractions Magazine, growing up as a teenager, to be actually on site there. But anyways, now to the actual list. Number 10, meeting 125 Roller Coaster Challenge at Dorney Park in 2023. On this day, my mom had a film shoot at an apartment in Allentown. Fittingly, it was on Atlanta's bus route 101, which continues straight to Dorney Park. While I was a film major, I enjoyed learning about more of the history and more of the studying film, perhaps as much, if not more so, than the creative process itself. And also, last time I was there was Grand Carnival in 2019, so I took the opportunity. This was the first time I rode Hydra since 2014, as well as since then, but also first intimate impulse since Wicked Twister closed.
On dark night on the Luxembourg, the wind she blew, and the crew would scout Julie Plant, Cascade and Rondine.
Well, I didn't actually ride with Paul, and didn't really even heard of it until this day. He has a nice origin story for his channel and why it's 125 Roller Coaster Challenge. It's always nice to bump into fellow enthusiasts. Speaking of that, Memorial Day weekend 2021 at Cedar Point. That Friday, a big storm came through. I think it was supposed to be the opening of Snake River Expedition. Did not happen because of the weather. And then there's a few school trips there. And then I only worked 4 hours into the morning. It was ponding back at the dorms. Definitely one of my least favorite days at a theme park. However, that Saturday was the first time I met Gabriella Witalik, better known as Mojo. Not really active anymore, or linked on LinkedIn still, but she blocked me on Instagram. I don't know if it's because I was starting linking up with people in my department, and she was there, and that's how I knew last. And I think that's probably what happened. Number 8, second Parkway Warner visit, March 2022. The only reason this one isn't higher is because I lost the footage. This was mainly for writing Coaster Express since that did not open opening weekend, and enjoying the shows, including the now defunct local Academia de Policía. Coaster is either forced or Jack Henry to death, depending on which row you sit in. That visit. Leaving Sun for my number 1 in the park. Number 7, Dollywood, August 2016. A year and a day after Lightning Rod was announced, my dad and I found ourselves in line for it, being one of the few lucky to ride the coaster opening year and as originally intended. Launch lift being the main selling point of the ride. I don't really remember the experience when I rode something Taylor Bybee had not. That feeling alone of beating Taylor something I'll keep hammering out until the day I die. Getting evac off Blazing Gears is another interesting highlight, although I missed half the cars, including Mystery Mine, Tennessee Tornado, Wallow Grove didn't exist. The Pigeon Forge Gallon area is a place I really want to revisit at some point. Spend a lot more time there, whole area in general, even if it's not the other attractions. Number 6, Universal Orlando Resort, December 2014. We had one day to hop between both Universal parks. Snugmo hit Islands, though they did do Hulk Prairie Track, Spider-Man, Forbidden Journey, Flight of the Hippogriff, and the Blue Side of Dueling Dragons. I think Dueling Dragons is the only one I did after lunch, where I met with some people at Margaritaville. Mostly was solo that day, and then we saw our school's jazz band set in City Walk, in Mayhem, Mummy, and having locker issues as a result. I think there was a parade going on to fit with that. And then I was just so tired that I let everyone else ride Green Goddess, and I would just watch the stuff. And dinner at Mel's quickly before rushing back to the All-Stars where we were based. Seeing NASCAR Cafe being good into the NBC Grill was a unique period of time. Number 5, National Roller Coaster Day 2021 at Cedar Point. 5 years to the day after I first visited Cedar Point, I was on site and we had a nasty thunderstorm after my lunch break where they did a cookout for us. Actually ate with my roommate since I played a different schedule and I was always probably more. It was the first I could leave before 3 because it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's like 7 to 3:30 or 4, 5 to 6 days a week most of the time there. I returned after work to celebrate the Arrow since it was Magnum and Gemini ride night that night. Save those for then, meaning I saw Cedar Creek, Corkscrew, and Iron Dragon to fit in before. And since SNS took over Arrow's assets, that include finally doing Power Tower and lapping Skyhawk. They must have had been trimless because it was running probably the best I've ever ran it. Then got for Magnum 2 and row 3, 1 row 13. That was the first time I went back to 8 o'clock close. I think we're still up like around 10:30, like getting back close to 11, which is fine staying up, the extra hour. However, I was planning on riding Top Thrill Dragster as well. However, you had the accident the day before. Even being right there, I didn't really quite understand, even though signs were there. I was still trying to line up again as it was just another routine breakdown. Especially on that as the day before I met Rena and Zach of Theme Park Media, just hours before that accident. Guess what will be on that day. Number 4. Being discovered at Fiesta de Mágico de Parque Atracciones de Madrid 2 de Mayo fin 2022. My last theme park day back in Madrid was for the very first Fiesta de Mágico at Parque Atracciones de Madrid. Ever since the pandemic and knowing I wanted to study abroad in Spain, I started looking for Spanish Caribbean. So the first I found were Elizabeth Threepwood and Dreamful Jack, plus then Discovery Line, who I really was following until that day, and apparently he's had a fling with Elizabeth at some point. Maybe they're still together, not sure. Discovery Line dude has a very Santa Claus type spirit to him, which contributes to his notoriety in the Spanish language sphere of the community. I would say meeting people in the train like Miles and Jackson, Caleb Classywell, Alan Fisher, Andy on track. Unofficial, there's a lot more impact. Although Marina, Bob, BK photo page. And then number 3 spot here. Meeting El Toro, Ryan, and Idiots at Cedar Point in 2021. It was El Toro, Ryan Chin who inspired me to apply to Cedar Point after talking about the experience of operating Top Thrill Dragster. Dorms out there, commuting was not an issue since I don't drive. It was a park that made the most sense to apply to. While I kind of want to ride a start because that's what every enthusiast thinks, I feel doing parkour gave me the flexibility despite often being exposed to the elements, even more so than the opposite. But they gave me a little time to have some genuine interaction, with fellow enthusiasts. Number 2, Worldwide Coach Kids Day 2019 at Six Flags Great Adventure. It was on my first visit to Great Adventure in 2013 and wanting to learn more about the park's history that got me truly going from GP, who had felt limited by a Marshall prolapse diagnosis, to traveling overseas to visit theme parks. Well, I put Isa Magica on the bad list in Europe Park in the middle outside the shows in the Spain area because I screwed up my credit account.
Wait, this was actually my one. No, God, no, no!
And getting Deutsche Bahn along the way. Still look back on this weekend fondly embracing the coaster geekiness, including going to Clementon Park the day before and finding hell can be overhated. While still with my Toro hate, my only regret with hindsight is not riding Ka, but I still want to ride Ka first thing. I think that was number 2 in 20 and on the old list. Makes sense that number 1 would remain. Number 1, doing Candlelight Processional at Epcot in December 2014. In my freshman year of high school, we did Candlelight Processional as our big music department event as choir, with band doing a parade in the showcase in the morning. We had Jonathan Groff, who is the voice of Kristoff in Frozen, as narrator, but also with a fellow choir friend named Sebastian. His dad hooked us up quite a few fast passes, and we had lunch with him. Also got to see Paul McKenna Band in the UK, hearing Voice of Liberty and Adventure Bullying, knowing we'd be performing with them later. And then being told by, backstage crew, stop fangirling over John Groff and doing it anyway in the next show. Italy Pavilion, watching just the ramp up to Illuminations and seeing Illuminations that was part again to the day. I accomplished something, and I'm starting that got Dixie to think I'd be worth of American music abroad in summer 2016. She's enjoying retirement well. Speaking of summer 2016, that was 10 years ago. So this summer, that'll be my focus on flashbacking to that, starting with Parks and Transit you do. Till then, click subscribe and strike the bell.